So hi everyone, thank you for watching. Today I have the absolute pleasure of talking with Mr. Satoshi Ishii, who is a legend in the sport of both judo and MMA. Satoshi is an Olympic gold medalist in judo and has won a number of other gold medals, at least four other gold medals in multiple world championships, including the Asian Games. Is also a silver medalist as well. Satoshi has been a professional MMA competitor for many years, fighting for the greatest promotions on earth, including Bellator, K1, Dynamite, Dream, the PFL, Professional Fight League, KSW, and quite a few others. And Satoshi has fought some of the greatest MMA fighters on earth. There's so many, I've actually got a list of them here, including Fedor Emelianenko, Tim Sylvia, Jerome Libana, obviously Mirko Krokop, who I believe you've also trained with. We'll talk about that later. Jeff Monson, and quite a few others, and has won multiple MMA world championships, including the Inoki Genome Federation World title, the Heat Heavyweight World title. I'm missing one. Oh, and the Serbian Battle Championships World title as well. Born and raised in Japan, currently resides in Croatia, I believe. And we have a lot to talk about today, many, many exciting factors of your life. So, Satoshi, thank you so much for obviously taking the time to speak with me today. I really do appreciate it. I'm very grateful.
Thank you. I appreciate too.
Okay. So, starting at the beginning, obviously, you were born and raised in Japan, which is seen by many as a martial arts nation. Is your cultural heritage important to you? What I mean by that is that obviously, you chose to compete in a traditional martial art, traditional Japanese martial art.
Yeah.
What did it begin for you? Where did you first become involved in martial arts?
Uh, when I was young, like around 13 or 14 years old, I watched Hickson Gracie versus Funaki, and my father told me that it is he is most strongest guy in the planet. And I already train judo, and I compete in judo. But my father said he is strongest guy. So then I started to thinking I want one day I want to become a MMA fighter.
Okay, so that's where it began. Okay.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, I mean, obviously your cultural heritage, Japan has an incredible history in combat sports, in martial
Mhm.
arts, in I'm going to come out and say this, the way of the warrior and everything that means as a culture. Is that something that influences you? I mean, does your heritage influence you to fight, or is it something that's not as
Uh,
important?
Actually, yes. I'm not sure other Japanese guys, but I'm not a big guy in heavyweight, like MMA and especially judo. But I wanted to compete in heavyweight because I wanted to be best, most strongest guy, you know. So I challenged MMA because I want to be best. I want to be most strongest guy.
Strongest guy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It makes sense. And that is another thing with this. Talking about the judo side of things first, before we get into MMA.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're an Olympic gold medalist. You've won multiple medals, incredible achievements that you've achieved. When you won the gold medal at the Olympics in 2008
Yeah.
Beijing Olympics, what went through your mind? I mean, what does it feel like to win something like that? Because people talk
Uh,
about the physical, don't they? But
yeah.
thinking about the mental and the emotional
Yeah.
and the spiritual, if that makes sense, please.
Yeah. Actually, I trained a lot. Like let's say start 5 a.m. like running, and morning time we train like physical, and evening we training sparring a lot. At night time technique. Then my mentally actually really tired. And I think end of 2007, I felt like I cannot do judo, anymore. I don't want to train. Then I decided, okay, let's. I do judo until 2008 Olympic Games. No matter what. If I couldn't be in Olympic Games, if I cannot be Olympic Games, I can be Olympic Games. Doesn't matter until August 15. I think I, you know, I do judo. Then after get the Olympic gold medal, and I felt like it then done. It is done. I finished judo, and I satisfied. Result also gold medal. So I was like I would say like kind of like relaxed, like
Yes.
finally I reached my goal, and now I go to different goals.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting. Very, very interesting that it was the pinnacle, like the top, and that's fascinating. Obviously, your switch to MMA. I mean,
Yeah.
we touched on that just now.
Mhm.
Was that because you wanted a new challenge? Because it was a new test? Was there another reason? What was your main motivation from switching? Because in judo you'd accomplished so much, but you still
Yeah.
wanted more. You still wanted to accomplish more, and you moved
Yeah.
to MMA. So, what was your main sort of motivation behind that? That switch, that transition.
I have two things. MMA is more or less rules than judo than other sports, because you can hit like boxing, kickboxing, and ground. You can like fighting ground, everything, like mixed martial arts, So my opinion, MMA is more, you know, like of course it is different sports, you cannot compare, but for my opinion, less rule, more, you know, like more close to fight, real fight, So
Yeah.
I wanted to challenge MMA, more than judo, because actually Japan judo, if you if I keep doing judo, I could earn a lot of money by judo, because judo is very big business in Japan, but I decided to judo because of decided to challenge MMA because of this. And another things, Japan Judo Federation is very strict, and they control everything. Like it is good part, bad part. If you become Olympic champion, like you get the sponsor, one sponsor, one competitor. Once it is judo rules, and you earn money, and after retire, like around 30 years old, you go to like a national team. Coach, and everything. They decided everything. Then I didn't want to do that. I wanna live my life, and I want to decide it myself. So. This one, another reason to
Mm.
sports.
Yeah, it makes sense. You wanted to
Yeah,
have the control of your own fate, of your own
yeah,
destiny. I understand this. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So another factor here is there's a theme in your life of transition. Obviously, you
Mhm.
transition from judo to MMA. You transition different things. Another one is obviously moving to Croatia from Japan. That
Yeah.
transition. It is a long way from home in some ways. Was that the same reason? Was that the same reason to control your own life and have your own fate, or was there another reason? If you don't mind me asking, what was the reason for you leaving Japan?
Yeah.
Because you've also renounced your citizenship, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so what was the reason behind that, please?
Uh, I have a lot of reason. First, uh, it is funny story that 2007, before Olympic Games, I went to some psychic, and she said, I wanted to hear about Olympic Games, like something nice things, But she said, my turning point of my life, it is like miracle. It is miracle cup, and I couldn't get it because it is before judo, before Olympic Games, Then 2014, I fought Mirko twice. Then I thought it is my turning point. I gonna win Mirko. Then I going to taking over. but I lost twice, and later he get rising belt, and I go to Croatia for training camp, 2017, and Croatian people. My first impression, Croatian people is so nice, so helpful, and I immediately love their place. Then I decided to move there, and also these turning point things. Then I decided to become Croatian, and also you know I like Japan. Sometimes I go to Japan that I enjoy it a lot, but the Japanese people like to put pressure on other people. That's why a lot of people suicide, especially last like October. Yeah, October. A lot of people dead by suicide, and more than coronavirus. Then it is not normal. And Japanese social media, uh, Instagram or something, they cannot see how many like you get in Japan. Because people care. People put pressure on that kind of things also. Themselves. Then they get the suicide, and I don't like Japanese people put pressure on someone like this. And I go Japan 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, but more than 2 3 weeks, I feel a little bit, um, no pressure, like choking, like normal life, not training, but in gym in Japan, everyone is nice. They are at home and a lot of friends over there, but like normal life. Everyone busy. So I really love Croatia. Their lifestyle also, people also. That's why I changed nationality.
It makes sense, champ. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. When you moved to Croatia, though, was there, was it much of an adaptation? Was there like a culture shock? Did you have to get used to it, or was it a very easy to settle in? What was your experience like, with that transition?
Actually, I used to live in Los Angeles
Hmm.
like 5 years, and after that I used to live in Amsterdam, and I went to a lot of countries, but I adapt to Croatia like so, like easy, like I don't have any pressure, like everyone accept me, respect me, it was no stress at all.
That's good.
Yeah,
I'm pleased to hear that, by the way, champ. That's good news. That's good news. You mentioned then that you've been in a lot of countries, which is, funnily enough, another question that I have here.
yeah,
Because you fought all over the world. I mean, I remember that you fought in New Zealand and Germany, Poland, different
yeah,
parts of America, Russia. I mean, so many places.
yeah.
Um, do you have a favorite place that you've either, I don't mind if it's somewhere you've competed or somewhere you've lived, or maybe Croatia is your favorite place, I don't know, but is there a country that you visited that is a favorite place for you?
uh, I, of course Croatia and Serbia also I like, and Spain also it was good, where uh, also Russia, Belarus also good. New Zealand was good also, and and a lot of American states, California good, Hawaii, amazing. A lot of good place, but good place and living place is different,
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, makes sense. That's cool. I want to give that a mention, champ, only because you've been so many places.
yeah,
Okay, so moving on from that then,
yeah,
there's another one that I find interesting, moving into the mindset a little bit
yeah,
more now again.
mhm,
On your Facebook profile,
yeah.
there is a quote that is your header image from I believe Hagakure, and forgive me.
Hagakure, yes.
Yeah, I've read this book, very good, a few years
Yeah,
ago. but
Oh, nice.
forgive my pronunciation. Sorry, but I've read many Japanese books. But there's a quote in there about from the way of the samurai, and you've got that as your head picture, and I found that only when researching this, but I find it very interesting. Is that something that has meaning to you in your fights? This samurai concept. I'm aware saying this, Satoshi, that it's a little bit of a cliche, which I don't want it to be. You understand that?
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, you've got it there. So I was just curious what that means to you on a mental and emotional and spiritual
Yeah.
levels, please, if that's okay to talk about.
Yeah. Actually, that's another thing that I live in Japan, because I pride, myself, my country, to Japan. But now young people, they don't have any pride
Mm,
in own country, in Japan, Japanese people, I don't know other country, but Japanese people tend to like this, because of media, everything, new generation. But when I was, it is, you saw Hagakure, samurai spirit about. Uh, it is not only fight, fight or competition. It is my all my life. When I wake up, I kill myself once, Then if you are dead man, you can do everything all day, And next day again, you dead, you kill yourself. Then you can do whatever you want, That's for me, samurai spirit,
okay, that's
No
very
afraid, we don't have, if you are dead man, you don't have any afraid, things, yeah,
interesting.
it is haraku.
Yeah, so it's a mindset to actually
Yeah,
take pressure off and to actually be unafraid. It makes the, oh,
yeah,
I see. That's
yeah,
very interesting. That's very interesting.
yeah,
Gosh, okay, very
yeah.
cool.
You don't have lose anything. If you are dead man, you don't have lose anything. So every morning you wake up like mindset, I'm dead man. I kill myself, first. Then you don't have any fear, anything, You don't have lose anything.
Mm. It makes sense. It's fascinating because, as I mentioned, I've read the book, but it's interesting to hear another person's perspective on that. I'm glad you gave that a mention of the fearlessness and sort of living side by side with death in a way is a fascinating idea. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Champ. Thank you. Another question here that I have is obviously, you fought so many of the best guys in the world,
Yeah.
and so many of the best promotions. I forgot to mention a couple because I forgot to mention Quinton Jackson, who you fought, and Mohammed Lawal, and a number of people. So my apologies, but there's just so many. In your career so far, are there areas of your game that you are still improving in MMA, that you're still moving towards sort of a perfection, or are you happy with your skills at the moment? I bring this into the fore because you mentioned earlier that there's so many different things about MMA. That's what's so cool. There's the
Yeah.
submissions, there's the boxing, there's the striking, judo. There's so many things. Are there areas that you're very focused on improving at the moment, or are you just happy with your skill set? What's the situation with that at the moment?
Always you know, I wanna improve myself
Mhm.
and explore, what I need, or new things. If someone has, like new technique or interesting technique, I immediately ask that person, and I want to learn.
Mm,
Uh, so I never satisfied my skills, even like judo. You know, I always I wanna improve. All skills like judo, also striking, takedown, everything ground also. Also mindset.
mm. Excellent. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's very good for people watching this or listening to this that they know that that there's not really an end to
Mhm.
learning as such. As the cup is never full. There's always more, and I'm pleased you mentioned that for people watching it because so many people get somewhere and they sort of settle at that point.
Yeah,
They think, oh, I've got it now. Whereas to be the best, you have to keep going and keep going.
yeah,
Which leads me to another question. Simply put, if you had to explain to somebody what it is that makes you so good at what you do, whether that's the MMA, the judo, one of the best in the world, and something separates you from the rest, something separates you from, other people who don't achieve their dreams, whereas it seems you've achieved some of your dreams. You understand what I mean, I think. And what
mhm.
would you say is the essential thing that separates you, that's enabled you to achieve? I mean, maybe it's discipline, maybe it's having a good mindset, it's
Uh,
probably a lot of things, but you
yeah,
understand what I mean. I know it's a
yeah.
strange one, but what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that, champ? What separates the best from the rest, as they say, please?
I think three things. Uh, don't get injury, don't get sickness, and don't get accident. If you don't do these three, you can training every day. Then you can achieve your goal one day. I believe that. So these three things are most important. And of course, you must be disciplined, dedicate your your training, and you must use your brain. What I need, like, you must thinking, new technique, or repeat, your like other technique, so that also that kind of training, you must be healthy, so healthy is most important, I think. Then you can training every day, you can go to gym, if you are not healthy, you cannot go to gym, then you cannot improve.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Health first, yeah, and health is wealth, as they say. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, now another one here. You mentioned earlier on about pride, and I've only got a handful more things now, by the way. Okay, but you mentioned earlier about pride and about self-respect and some of these things. In your many years in martial arts, judo, MMA, and everything else, how has martial arts improved you as a person, if that makes sense? How have you
Yeah.
grown through daily practice and daily, the amount of discipline and all of these things? How has it improved you as a person?
Actually, when I was a judo player, judo federation did everything, they buy air ticket, they take a hotel, they do everything, then I become MMA fighter, and I do my, it is normal things, I really see world, and I met a lot of people, and by martial arts, then I improved, not improved, I knew, I have no more, like more word, what, people, relationship, everything, I become more mature, so it is, like martial arts make me more like, as a person, like, better person, I think
Excellent.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because people always focus on the winning and they always focus on the winning. But one of the things that interests me so much is what's going on inside the
Yeah.
athlete, which is why I asked that one. Okay, so looking back over your career so
Yeah.
far, looking back, what is your proudest moment of your career, either in judo, MMA, anything, your proudest
Yeah.
moment, and also why is it your proudest moment, whatever it is, please.
It was when I, when 2000, no, 4. Yeah, when I was 17 years old,
Mhm.
and it is a high school judo championship, but the team championship. I was in Kokushikan, and I'm like kind of ace, like they pick five guys in team, and I'm like a point getter, and we fought against like rival high school, we always lost. Then this moment, we training really hard, and we even Sunday we never rest. I training like 24/7, like always thinking about this competition, and we won by like kind of like overtime. Like we couldn't like last guy. I was last guy, and our last guy was draw, and like overtime. Then we won. So like golden score. Then it was my like most memorable moment, or like honorable moment.
Yes.
More than Olympic Games, I think. Yeah, and all Japan Championship. It is actually judoka in Japan. More they are more big, they thinking more big than Olympic Games, because other Olympic champion compete this all Japan Championship. And 2006, I become most youngest champion in the history. I broke history from Yasuhiro Yamashita. Then this moment also, like big things for me.
Incredible achievement and remarkable. Um, I respect that so
Well,
much.
thank you very much.
Okay, so another thing here, taking it away just for a moment from the fighting, because I've only got a handful more things.
Yeah.
When you're not competing, what hobbies and interests do you have and things? The reason I ask this is because you mentioned that part of your motivation for leaving Japan was to be
Yeah.
free, even though there's good and bad. So
Yeah.
obviously you have more freedom now. So when you are not competing, when you're not focusing, what sort of things do you like to do? And I'm not trying to sort of pry into any
Yeah.
personal things or anything like that at all,
Yeah.
but just some of your interests outside of fighting and competing, please.
I like to learn something, like reading a book, or like recently I like to learn from bodybuilding, but not like lift weight. What they eating. About nutrition, that kind of things I like, and also language. I try to learn language, and what I like to drink coffee, wine. I want to watch movies like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, good. That's
yeah. And in Japan, I like to go to temple. So weekend I always not always I often I go to temple to pray.
excellent.
Yeah.
Um, as soon as you mentioned the temple and things like that,
Yeah.
I noticed this, and I'm trying not to make this a cliche because I know it's not as simple as this, but
Mhm.
I've observed differences in the attitude towards fights in the East and the West. People have different
Yeah.
perceptions, not always, but in some cases.
Yeah.
But for you, is there a spiritual aspect to competition? Does a spiritual aspect come into your life and your
Uh,
competition, or is it not as important? If that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. But if you have some delusion, like delusion, sometimes you become nervous, worry, something like delusion makes you more calm, be comfortable. So I think it is depends on people, because of
Oh yeah,
delusion, but I think it helps me, a lot.
yeah. Yeah, that's cool. The only reason I asked, champ, is this is not really a heritage thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I ask this to most people because some people say, yes, they find they have ways of finding peace before competition. They have ways. Some people say no. Some people say they're very nervous, and all different things. So the answers are very very interesting. And I'm a spiritual person myself,
Yeah.
so it gives me peace. So I just wanted
Yeah.
to mention that.
Yeah, but I'm Buddhist.
Hmm.
I met the Dalai Lama once, and Buddhist. You can all religion. You cannot push people, for religion. Everyone must respect their religion. Each person. So it is most important, I think.
Respect and
Yeah,
letting people be who they want to be.
yeah,
Rather than forcing people to be. Yes, I understand this very much when you said about the culture, because there are many cultures, even in the UK, even in my country, there's pressure on people, but it's different. It's different to Japan.
yeah,
But there's other things. But I
yeah.
really think people should be who they want to be and follow their own heart. And it should be, the world would be better. Did you
Yeah,
say you met the Dalai Lama then? You met the Dalai Lama in
yeah,
person? Wow. Okay. I didn't
yeah,
know that, but
yeah,
do you mind talking about that a little bit? That's not actually one of my questions, but as soon as you,
yeah.
you mentioned where did you meet him and what
Uh,
happened, please?
after Olympic Games, because my junior high school, when I went to junior high school, it is like Buddhist junior high school.
Mhm.
So they are very good connect with Dalai Lama, Tibet Buddhist. So after Olympic Games, they invite me to meet Dalai Lama, and we talk little. So,
It's incredible. That is
yeah,
that is such an honor. And you
yeah,
spoke with him. That is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Um, Fantastic. I mean, that's a little bit off topic, Satoshi, but I
yeah,
admire the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, so much
yeah,
for so much of the work he does. I've got so many of his books, and I listen to a lot of his talks and all
yeah,
different things.
yeah,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so moving on from there,
yeah,
going back into the fighting a little bit more.
yeah,
Obviously, you fought all these top guys. You fought some of the absolute legends
yeah,
of MMA and of judo.
yeah.
What has been your toughest fight, your most difficult fight, and what lesson have you learned from that toughest fight?
But it is depends. I cannot say which one is tough, because I respect all fighter. My what I fought, and uh, so for example, I I fought a lot of great guys, strong guys. Like one of the best MMA fighter, and they makes me stronger, and not always I get the result what I want, but I have experience more than other fighter. I think I believe that. Then this experience, become my weapon. One of my weapon, and for my fight. So I cannot say which one is hard, because I fought Fedor Emelianenko like beginning of my career, but later, for example, I had a lot of fight, and I fight Mirko. It is different. You cannot compare.
No,
Who is most tough. Tough fight. Yeah,
a very cool answer. I like that. I love the respect, though, champ.
yeah,
As this might sound strange, but I respect the
yeah.
respect that you have always shown to
Oh, thank you.
your opponents and the people that you have fought, because you know this. But in
Yeah,
fights these days, there's a lot of this trash talking and bad talking and things.
yeah,
And personally, I don't agree that it's a good thing. But we
yeah,
won't get into that. But that's just me saying that. But I admire the respect for your opponents.
yeah. Thank you.
So another thing here is obviously with the amount of wisdom and knowledge and everything that you've gained from so many years, competing and things of that nature. Um, what are your plans? And forgive me if you are already doing this, because you may
Yeah,
be. But what are your plans to, do you have any plans to train, coach, pass on your knowledge, your lineage of knowledge to, the next generation after you? Is that something that you think of, or is it something that's not really?
No, I, it is not my things. I'm not good at teaching something to people. So I do MMA as much as I can, and after that I challenge some new things. I like to challenge something. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just curious because you've got so much knowledge, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's only a couple more,
Yeah.
only a handful more things now.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel that your fighting career has had a positive impact on other people? What I mean is, personally, I think you're a very inspirational
Yeah.
person. But do you feel that your career has inspired others or helped other people who watch you or train with you or anything really? I mean, what are your thoughts on the impact? It's not really one specific question, but what are your thoughts on the impact of your career on other people, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I understand. Actually, what my I think I feel myself not satisfying, but I do always my best. I decided to myself, I always challenge strong guys. I never reject fight. So some people, some guys does, they reject fight, not reject, like how to say, like they looking for timing, or this moment I cannot fight him, maybe 2 3 times win, and this, like business way, but
Yeah.
I don't think martial arts from a business way. If they give me offer or some good guy, good strong guy, I want to challenge, I want to, even I lost, but I could know my I could measure my skills, and of course, media said something bad, negative, and the people say some people said some negative things, but you cannot care about each of people, like a lot of people watching this, and a lot of people who even who doesn't show their name, you understand, you can see Twitter, they no name, but they just writing bad comment, negative things, but you cannot care about this, because they don't have any responsibility, because they don't show name, nothing, information, nothing, so I don't care. I just treasure around my people, my gym mate, my friend, my family. I care about only that those people, and those people always helped me, and never say that kind of negative things, of course they sometimes they said some very hard things to me, because they care about me, they think it is if I need something, they coach or my friend said, you need this, otherwise how to say, like, you need this because you must win this next fight, so you must learn this, or some like kind of advice, and that kind of things I always open mind, and I appreciate those kind of word, but other SNS negative things, negative, like bad comment, I don't care anything.
Well, that's good. That's a
Yeah,
good. It's a good policy. I agree very much
yeah,
on
yeah,
so many levels. Okay, so it's only a handful more things.
yeah,
One of the important questions that sort of brings a lot of the others into like a focus now is, if you had to give advice to people who want to achieve their goals
yeah,
in life, so you've got like a young guy who maybe it's in sports, maybe it's in something else, but they got their mind on something that they want to achieve, like winning.
yeah.
What advice would you give them as like maybe two or three essential things that they need to be successful and to achieve their goals?
I think don't think too much result, because if you think too much result, you cannot control result. If you can not only result, like something which you cannot control, you don't need to think, because you cannot control. So don't think about too much result, or you can achieve goal or something like this. You must thinking like this moment, like live in the moment. Then you you have to enjoy, because this moment only you can feel. Then always I decided, if you have two choice, I always decided which one. If I choose, then I will not regret. Then I live like this. So always be happy, then choose which you will never regret.
Incredible wisdom. That's
Yeah.
incredible wisdom. And again, thank you for sharing that. It is
Thank you.
profound. And going a little bit deeper into that, because this is
Yeah.
pretty much the last one, or maybe one more. It's pretty
Yeah.
much the last one. But you have always struck me, because by the way, I followed your career for some time as well. You've always struck me as a very happy, fulfilled person. I know this might seem a bit strange to say, but I speak to some athletes and they've achieved a lot of stuff, but they're
Yeah.
not necessarily the happiest people sometimes.
Yeah.
But you always struck me as happy, fulfilled person. So,
Yeah.
my question is, if you had to give advice on how to be a happy, uh, fulfilled person, the reason I ask this question, Satoshi, is because you mentioned then about the no regret, and you mentioned
Yeah.
about the philosophy and living in the moment. I'd like to go a little bit deeper into that, because it seems
Yeah.
that this is, you understand where I'm going with it, with this
Yeah.
line of thought. Can we go a little bit deeper into that, please?
Yeah. I think it is the most important things is, like self acceptance. Accept yourself. I think, because sometimes I get result what I don't want, like lose or something. Then of course I upset, mad myself, and why I couldn't win, but everything. If you felt something, for something, but everything, you made everything. You know I made this result. Maybe I didn't training like correctly, or I must run more. So but you have to accept yourself. Then everything, it is me. So you started to like yourself. If you can accept yourself. So first, whatever you feel like upset, mad, or I don't know, first start like accept, like yourself, self acceptance. It is more important, I think.
Powerful. It's a very, very powerful lesson, because we've talked about the past,
Mhm.
and we've looked back, but obviously you still have goals and dreams and ambitions to achieve from here. So the last question that I have is
Yeah.
what you're aiming for next. What is next for Satoshi Ishii? What are you planning in the future?
My goal is now just one. I want to be heavyweight champion, like in the world, like number one fighter in heavyweight.
Okay, that's the goal. That's the dream.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Brilliant. Well, the only other thing I always do with these interviews, Satoshi, is I always say to people if they have anything they'd like to say to their fans or supporters, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you do. If not, don't worry. But is there anything, any sort of final words that you would like to say to those people who've supported you, who watch your fights, who've
Yeah.
any final words?
Yes. Thank you for watching this YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for watching YouTube. and my interview. And everyone, Happy New Year.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chad. Well, honestly, I mean, that's everything that I wanted to talk about. And to be honest with you,
Yeah.
is quite a bit more because there's a lot of things you shared there where I knew they would be good, but it was better than I expected. And there was some stuff I had, and you answered it without me even asking it. So it was so much better than what I planned. So thank you so much
Thank you very
um,
much.
for
Thank
your
you.
time. I appreciate. Blue Limitless, the purest phycocyanin on the planet. This is taking the sports industry by storm with multiple world champions, Olympians, and many other world-class athletes, all the way down to your regular gym goers and fitness enthusiasts, even amateur athletes, using this product to maximize their potential and move a step closer to the life of their dreams. This product works in a unique way on a cellular level. Unlike any other product on Earth, this is created with a patented photobioreactor technology that no one else in the world has access to, breaking down lactic acid and reconverting it into ADP. In other words, breaking the waste and reconverting it into fuel. You can train longer, harder, faster, and considerably outdo your competition. Whether you're just looking for more energy, whether you're a professional athlete or somewhere in between, this product is for you, boosting physical, mental, and emotional health through increased energy and amazing world-class anti-inflammatory effects that cannot be beaten. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.